Business Live today.
Welcome to the program. After months of speculations, government is giving indication that it would complete the IMF program within time. The $918 million program is aimed at stabilizing government's finances and restoring rapid economic growth. Meanwhile, we are getting indication there may not be a firm conclusion on extension. We'll come to that in a bit. First, though, we want to play this sound for you. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta speaking about the future of the program.
Created a program and we are committed to ending it when it should have ended, and so that is what we are sticking to. It means a lot more hard work than we have to, but you know, there are life changes and curves, but that's where we are in terms of Cabinet's decision as to that. With regards to revenues being optimistic, we know it's challenging to increase revenues by a third in a short period of time, by 34%. But we also have identified, you know, sort of the main sources of leakages. So what are we going to do with our corporate taxes, both domestic and multinationals? And there's going to be increased vigilance in the import duties, as you realize, of customs. So we are going to charge them to be more effective, point of sales, excise duties, etc.
So what's the future of the program based on the IMF's visit? Earlier, I spoke to my colleague George Rafi, who has been following this story closely for us. I started by seeking clarification on whether or not government has agreed to extend the program.
Now, there are certain targets that have been set in the IMF program. Because of certain challenges, it looks like all those targets might not be able to be implemented within the deadline that has been given. And that is why, for those people who are following the program, they are saying that it is right for government to indeed make a request and extend the program. So during the recent visit to Ghana, the mission came, there was a press conference. I mean, there was still back and forth about whether the program will be extended or not. The finance minister said, I mean, as we speak now, the decision is that they are working to end the program.
But doesn't that mean that government has made up its mind to, you know, stick within the time frame?
We're trying to collect a lot of dots here. Now, if you look at the things that government is supposed to do, we are in 2017. They are now doing Article 4, which should have been done in 2014. There's supposed to be a fourth review. They are not through with that one. Now, each review, a completion of each review comes with disbursement of funds. We are not done we've done Article 4 now. We are yet to complete the fourth review. We are yet to complete the fifth review. Now, there are certain structural reforms that should take place. All these things have not been done. So you ask yourself whether government wants to get out of the program or implement all these things for the completion of the program. And if you look at the dynamics here, it looks like all those things need to happen before you can say that you have completed the program. And therefore, it looks like the reality on the ground is that you might have to put in a request and extend the program. So if now you're seeing that as we speak now, the decision is that they are going to work hard, it means that it has to be put at full speed, more of a crash program, the reforms you're supposed to take, which will come with its own shocks to the economy. I don't believe and I don't think that it might be that easy for them if they really want to end the program April 2018.
So what next after this review?
Because this review hasn't been completed because the fourth review, there are certain actions they're supposed to take. Now, the board is supposed to meet somewhere in June. If they are not been able to implement those targets by May, then the fund cannot go to the board. Don't forget that one of the reasons why we went into this program was to more get investor confidence as well. So you don't want to do anything that will send some wrong signals to the market for them to react badly. So what next for us now is that those prior actions you're supposed to put in place, some structural reforms you're supposed to put in place in the financial sector, in the banking sector, in the energy sector, we are supposed to do all those things before we can say we have completed the fourth review. And then they make the recommendations to the board, and then we get the IMF cash possibly in July. But that is what is next.
And we'll have more on this IMF deal in the days to come. George Rafi will be in Washington for the spring meetings and will be keeping us posted. We are moving on now, and President Akufo-Addo has reiterated his government's commitment to transform Ghana's economy. Delivering his Easter message, the president said government has begun policy measures in areas of manufacturing and agriculture, among others, aimed at enhancing economic growth. Let's listen to him.
My party and I have put before you, the Ghanaian people, the most ambitious program of social and economic transformation of any government in the history of the Fourth Republic, if not in our entire history. This program is hinged on restructuring the institutions of our governments, modernizing our agriculture to enhance its productivity, a clear industrial policy, and rationalizing the financial sector so that it supports growth in agriculture and growth in manufacturing and industry. In my view, that is the way we can build a resilient economy and lead Ghana to a situation beyond aid. In this season of hope, let me reassure everyone that with God's guidance, we will transform our nation under the rule of law and use all the blessings that the Almighty has bestowed on us to bring wealth to all our people if we work at it. I wish all Ghanaians a happy Easter, and may God bless our country, Ghana, and us all.
Turning to the mining industry, and the Ghana Chamber of Mines has kicked against calls for licensed artisanal miners to be included in a temporary ban on small-scale mining. According to the chamber, such extending the ban to licensed operators may rather be counterproductive in the fight against illegal mining or galamsey.
Some stakeholders believe only an extension of the ban to the licensed operators could yield the desired result in the fight against illegal mining. The Small Scale Miners Association has already vowed to resist any such attempts, insisting the certified operations of its members cannot be equated to that of illegal miners. The chief executive of the Chamber of Mines, Suleimanu Koni, also says such a move would not be in the best interest of the country.
If you have license a business to run its business and you don't have cause for that particular business to be banned, why do you want to ban it? So a sweeping ban is problematic. I think we have rules and regulations in this country. So you don't want a situation where you have, the operatives who are duly licensed taking government on legally. I think what needs to be done is, like I have said, who are they? Are we really monitoring their activities and actually regulating them the way we should do? And once we do this, I'm sure that they would really come together and do what is expected. But banning it outright, I think, may not be the best for the country, because I know there would be legal ramifications go. Our best bet is to identify the hotspots. Clearly illegal activity, mining on water bodies, on public lands, naturally we would have to, that's where we have to start from and just stop them from the activity.
It believes government to capitalize on the all-time high commitment so far exhibited by stakeholders to find a lasting solution to the challenge.
I know in the previous government, the ante was actually raised at a point in time when you had, a lot of foreigners in this country, in the illicit activity of illegal mining, and they also set up a task force. But this is the very first time where we have had a groundswell of various publics and stakeholders actually supporting this, particularly in the media, which is quite commendable. So we believe that it's a good start, raising the awareness, raising the national consciousness about the ill effects of illegal mining and how it actually affects our very livelihoods as a people. So I think as far as awareness creation, particularly to do with illegal mining, I think it's a good thing. But as you well know, that is not enough. We need to move to take action eventually to make sure that this matter is actually resolved.
Government has meanwhile expressed satisfaction with the level of progress made so far in the crackdown on the illegal operators as a 3-week ultimatum draws near.
It's Easter and activities are going on all over the country to mark the occasion. Holidaymakers are making it to the Eastern regional town of Kwahu for various festivities, which include the paragliding festival and the popular Kwahu Easter bash. And you know what that means, right? Opportunities for businesses. Eastern regional correspondent Maxwell Kudako is at Kwahu for us, joins us on the phone with more. Maxwell, what's the buzz around Kwahu? What's been going on today?
Well, there's a lot of fun at action for me. The also thing with the council batch closed around 3 a.m. This morning, and then a lot of people jam this morning. The official the plan was last by the Minister Tourism.
Hello, Maxwell. Hi, Maxwell. Okay, we are struggling to hear Maxwell. We'll fix that in a moment and then we'll get back to him. But we know that Kwahu paragliding activities is a great boost for tourism, but accessibility has been a problem over the years. Now, Tourism Minister Catherine Afeku has been speaking about what government is doing to fix the situation.
First most significant thing is road. Surfacing of the road leading to this destination leaves a lot to be desired. And the regional minister, in collaboration with GTA and the roads minister, have just done some small dressing, but they have assured me that we will have bitumen by this time next year. And not only bitumen, we hope to expand access so we can have bike path and add more enhancement to the paragliding. The second significant thing is one of the pilots, Blake Pelton, promising and assuring the good people and the citizen of Ghana that he would help the ministry establish a training school for paragliding in Ghana. And I think it's a huge legacy for the President of the Republic that this, under his tenure and in memory of Jake Obechebilamte, we would get a paragliding training school so there will be more Ghanaians who will take up the flying lessons and boost tourism. What do you have?
All right, so you heard Tourism Minister there. Maxwell Kudako is back on the line. Maxwell, I can imagine there are plenty activities happening over there. Tell me what business opportunities the activities there present.
Well, a lot of people are cashing in here, especially the hospitality industry, and then also those who are into food and beverages. Almost all the big hotels here in Kwahu are full up to capacity. If you want a decent place to sleep now, it will be very difficult because it has been booked in advance, and people will have to roam for the 3 days before they can have fun. If you don't take that, you may not have a place. So the hospitality industry money here. What the other businesses that are also booming here, as I indicated, are the food vendors and those into beverages. Almost all the alcoholic beverages are represented here from A to Z. If you move an inch, every yard you move on the street of Obome, Praiso, Cedi, Koko, Abitifi, and the other areas, you will meet a food, either a fried rice joint, either a bankru or fufu joint. I came across a group of guys who are into rabbit. Yeah, first like rabbit around between Obu and I mean, a lot of people have gone there to also have a taste of what rabbits are. So obviously, business is actually booming. The food are a bit moderate. The only thing is that the commercial drivers, especially the taxi drivers, have taken advantage and have increased their fares, especially from Nkoko to the mountains. In the past, people, they were charging 450 pesos. Now, if you are coming from Nkoko to or Obome and other, they take 5 cedis, others even take more. And they complain that the traffic situation is a contributing factor for the increment. And then also the fact that if they drive from Nkoko to Obome, Praiso, and its catchment area, it is difficult to get passengers from this area back to Nkoko. So they have to taking the advantage of the situation and making a lot of money. A lot of people are coming to town to...
Right, Maxwell, and how would you describe patronage compared to previous years? I know this is not your first Kwahu experience.
If you compare, the facility started yesterday, and this morning it's been encouraging. A lot of people have down. So if you ask me, I would say that this year's event is a bit encouraging as against that of last year. We would have to we make that fairly after this evening event, because a lot of will be taking place this evening. So maybe after this evening and tomorrow morning, we will be in a position to make a judgment whether this year's event has got to last year or the previous year.
Thanks very much. That was our reporter there, Maxwell Kudako, bringing us up to speed on activities at Kwahu. We are moving on to the agri sector, where there's been a lot of discussion recently on the need for the adoption of new technology in order to increase productivity in that sector. Government has given indication of its support in that regard. However, some players in the sector say acquiring such technology would be difficult if financial institutions keep lending rates high. One of such is Kwabna Opejamwating, CEO of Agro Africa Limited, which was adjudged Company of the Future by the GIPC. He explains to Joy Business why it is crucial for banks to review their lending rates to the agri sector.
There has been a lot of, let me put this, a lot of ideas, but the whole thing boils down with funds. So that's why I don't really want us to go there, because your fund is limited and opportunity cost certain.
But is this something that is possible to do here?
More than possible. My mentor, Safa Kantanka, he's doing a lot. If you should have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, fantastic. You see, there's a lot of things we are importing into the country which are nothing. It doesn't take like a lot to do it. Little. But you see, the only thing is that our banking system is so choked, or should I say, like so rigid that you find it difficult to get funds to do anything. Go for a loan right now. Look at even the lot of documents they will ask you. But I don't fault them, because a lot of people have gone for the loans and they've defaulted. So, in the normal circumstance, I will even act the same way in order to secure or to safeguard your money. So there has been, there need to be a lot of checks and balances. There need to be a whole lot of things, a whole lot of revolution around this area, so as to help reduce a lot of things. A Ghanaian, once they see even anything free, they add a dom to it, it becomes freedom. So there's a problem, like a cancer which needs a cure, and who will cure it? Only God knows.
In other news tonight, the Ghana-South Africa Business Chamber says Ghanaian businesses seeking opportunities in South Africa have little to worry about, despite the downgrade of the country's economy to junk status. International ratings agency Standard & Poor's downgraded South Africa's credit rating, citing the government's high debt coupled with its high expenses in supporting the state energy firm Eskom. So what does this mean for the South African economy and Ghanaian businesses seeking opportunities in that country? Ashirix is president of the Ghana-South Africa Business Chamber.
I think generally, that involves more sort of on a much higher level. So if you have your big sort of pension funds and your investments and your international investments, and them having to manage risk profiles, that will have an effect on it. It will have an effect on the currency. However, I've spoken to a number of economists, and they don't see the currency devaluing any further than it has already. So as far as sort of being on the ground and doing business on the ground, I think it'll have very little impact.
What impact do you think it would have on South African businesses already?
Well, one of the main issues is probably, stability and trying to get funding, because I think there will be a shortage of funding for cash, especially from the banks, because the downgraded junk status affects the banks the most on what they can lend out and what they can do from a financial perspective. So I think that's the main effect. But other than that, I don't see too much of an effect on the companies.
Okay. What opportunities are there for Ghanaian businesses? What specific sectors would you advise Ghanaian investors to look out for in South Africa?
But I'd suggest, bring something that's unique to Ghana. Look for something that South Africans don't have. Try and find a certain market where there aren't current companies in South Africa that are providing those products. I think lots of things. I mean, Ghana has a lot of things to offer that South Africa don't have. I mean, just take, for instance, your fruit that you have here. Some of the best sort of pineapples and pawpaws like in the world. You know, you taste the pineapple from South Africa and it tastes, you know, it's a very sharp taste, where the pineapples are incredibly sweet. So that's just to give an example. You know, you go look at something that Ghana can offer that's uniquely, either South Africa doesn't have it or it's far superior to what South Africa does have. And if you can really start to develop those supply chains and those export, I think you can be very successful.
You're watching Business Live. We are taking a short break. When we come back, we'll have our interview of the day.
Business Live today.
Welcome back to the program. Time now for our interview of the day. The local currency over the last 3 weeks has recorded some sustained appreciation against the dollar. Some have, however, questioned the Cedi's record appreciation, describing it as artificial and not supported by sound economic fundamentals. And so they say it's not sustainable. We've been picking the thoughts of economist Courage Mate on the Cedi's performance so far and what the future holds.
Has recovered some of the losses it made in the early part of this year when it touched as high as 4.7 on the market. Currently it's trading around 4.2, you know, appearing to have gotten back to where we were at the start of the year. And I think that that's a quick turnaround in the exchange rate dynamics.
What could we attribute to this quick turnaround?
Well, the main thing you attribute to the turnaround is the fact that what caused it in the first place was more of sentiments not going in favor of our economy, sentiments spurred by concerns over fiscal overruns from the last elections, which goes to the heart of policy credibility, because initially we had promised investors that we're going to bring down the deficit to levels of about 5.3%, and it turned out that we're doing far in excess of that, even higher than where we started 2016 at. And so that was a dent on investor confidence, and some of them, especially the foreign investors, had to take cover. And taking cover means moving their capital away from Cedi assets into foreign currency, predominantly the US dollar. Added to the fact that towards or in the middle part of the quarter, investors started repricing again in anticipation of an increase in the US interest rates. That exerted some external headwinds on the local currency. So if you add the domestic negative sentiment and the external pressure from expectations in the US, the Cedi had to suffer such a hit. But the government had a goodwill, and they capitalized on that goodwill through beginning with the budget presentation in early March. And a lot of investors now could see a clear fiscal path, could see policy clarity, and see that the government appears to have taken a stance in favor of fiscal discipline, which they favor, and that had appeared to have turned sentiment around in our favor. And so you see the Cedi recovering some grounds in that regard.
Watching this holiday edition of Business Live. Happy Easter to you. We return on Monday with another edition of Business Live. Stay with us.